This podcast was recorded on Ramangeri land. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Welcome to Fleurieu Footy Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Costello. On today's program, we'll look at the results for the A-grade, reserves, Senior Colts and Junior Colts. We'll go through the leading goal kickers and we will look at the premiership ladders after round 16. We'll then have our special guest on. After that, we will do results for 10 years ago for the A-grade after round 16. We'll look at the women's final series and the results there and the upcoming contests in the grand finals. We will plug a local business and we'll have our question of the week. So I hope you enjoy the program. Thanks for joining us. Here are the results for the GSFL men's A grade after round 16. The first game we look at, Langon Creek took on Yankalilla, and Langon Creek had a massive win, 27 goals 18, 180, defeated Yankalilla 3 goals 8, 26. The second game, Gould Port Elliot hosted Ponga Selix, and Ponga Selix had a good victory there, 25 goal 12, 162, defeating Gould Port Elliot 3 goal 6, 24. Wollonga hosted Encounter Bay, and Wollonga ran out winners there, 16 goal 6, 102, defeating Encounter Bay 8 goal 12, 60. An important game, Victor Harbour hosted McLaren, and McLaren were victorious and still remain undefeated, 13 goal 9, 87, defeating Victor Harbour 11 goal 7, 73 in a tight tussle. And the final game was also quite tight. Mount Compass hosted Strathalbyn, and Strathalbyn were winners, 13 goals 6, 84 to Mount Compass 10 goals 9, 69. If you're looking for best players and goal kickers, follow the web address below. So the leading goal kickers in the men's A grade after round 16 look like this. Sam Basham on top from Victor Harbour on 52. Matthew Merritt in second from McLaren on 51. Ben Simmons in third from Strathalbyn on 50. Jackson Elms is in fourth place from Victor Harbour on 46. Then we've got Jake Targer in fifth from Encounter Bay on 44. Ben Kennedy slips into the top 10. He's in sixth spot from Ponga Selix with 42. He kicked 16 on the weekend. Well done, Ben. Tied for seventh is Tom Pinion from Mount Compass and James Grimley from McLaren, both on 41. And then we've got a couple of guys on 36, Riley Clamp from Strathalbyn and Nick Marshall from Encounter Bay, both in 8th spot. 9th is Kobe Hellier from Langon Creek on 35, and 10th is Caleb Howell from Langon Creek on 33. So the A-grade ladder after round 16 looks like this. McLaren are on top with 16 wins, undefeated. Wollonga are second with 12 wins. Ponga Selix are third with 11 wins. Encounter Bay are fourth with 9 wins. Victor Harbour are fifth with 9 wins. So Encounter Bay and Victor Harbour are separated by percentage. In 6th spot is Langon Creek with 8 wins. And in 7th spot is Strathalbyn with 8 wins. Mount Compass in 8th with 5 wins. Yankalilla in 9th with 2 wins. And in 10th, Gould Port Elliot yet to post a victory. So that 5th spot is still up for grabs and it's getting pretty exciting. Here are the results for the GSFL reserves grade after round 16. The first game we look at, Langon Creek took on Yankalilla, and Langon Creek defeated Yankalilla 18 goals 17, 125 to Yankalilla 2 goal 113. And the next game, Gould Port Elliot hosted Ponga Selix. Ponga Selix won that game quite easily, 13 goals 21, 99 to 1 goal 17. Then Wollonga took on Encounter Bay for a top spot berth. In a close tussle, Wollonga 6 goal 3 39 defeated Encounter Bay 4 goal 8 32. The next game saw Victor Harbour host McLaren, and McLaren were victorious there, 9 goals 16 70 to Victor Harbour 5 goals 6 36. And in the final game, Mount Compass hosted Strathalbyn. Strathalbyn, big winners there, 17 goals 21 22 to Mount Compass 1 goal 6 points. Best players and goal kickers can be found at the web address below. Here are the GSFL men's reserves leading goal kickers after round 16. In first spot is Graydon Brand from Langon Creek on 40. Second is Thomas Grundy from Waiponga Selix on 34. Third is Blake Bailey from Encounter Bay on 32. Fourth is Ben Hutchinson from Waiponga Selix on 26. In fifth spot is Sebastian Gerardo from Waiponga Selix, Jacob Steele from Wollonga, Jacob McDonald from Wollonga, Luke Goodison from McLaren, and Ashley Weckett from Strathalbyn, all on 18 goals. And then in sixth spot, there's three guys, Harry Simmons from Strathalbyn, Braden Anderson from McLaren, and Lachlan Costello from Encounter Bay, all on 17. Here is the men's reserve grade premiership ladder after round 16. On top, we've got Wollonga with 13 wins and a pretty good percentage, followed by Encounter Bay in second, also on 13 wins. Third is Waiponga Selix on 12 wins. Fourth is McLaren with 11 wins. Fifth is Langon Creek with 10 wins. Sixth is Strathalbyn with 8 wins. Seventh is Victor Harbour with 7 wins. Eighth is Gould Port Elliot with 4 wins. Ninth is Yankalilla with 1 win. And 10th is Mount Compass, yet to post a victory. I reckon that top 5 is pretty well set, except there could be some movement within the top 5. Here are the results for the GSFL Telstra Senior Colts after round 16. So Langon Creek hosted Yankalilla, and Yankalilla were victorious 8 goal 11 59, defeating Langon Creek 4 goal 7 31. The next game saw Gould Port Elliot host Waiponga Selix. In a tight tussle, Waiponga Selix won that game 5 goal 8 38, defeating Gould Port Elliot 3 goal 7 25. And Wollonga hosted Encounter Bay, and Wollonga were also victorious in a tight game, 6 goal 7 43, defeating Encounter Bay 4 goal 6 30. McLaren Vale defeated Victor Harbour quite easily, 17 goal 7 109 to Victor Harbour 4 points. And then the last game, Mount Compass hosted Strathalbyn, and Strathalbyn won that 11 goal 12 78. To Mount Compass, 2 goals 8 20. And if you're looking for the best players and goal kickers, just go to that web address below. Let's look at the GSFL Telstra Senior Colts leading goal kickers after round 16. And on top is Dexter Kenny from Waiponga Selix with 50, followed by teammate Joshua Gerardo from Waiponga Selix on 37. Then we've got in third spot Dash Hawley from Yankalilla on 36 and Ryan Corby from Encounter Bay on 36. Tied for fourth is Jack Gilbert from Strathalbyn on 33 and Archie Evans from Gould Port Elliot on 33. Then we've got a couple on in fifth spot, Zaid Edwards from Wollonga on 25 and Tyler Davidson from McLaren on 25. Then we've got in sixth spot Lockie Nash from Mount Compass on 24. In seventh, there's a couple of guys, Adam Toke from Langon Creek and Finn Hayden from Gould Port Elliot, both on 22. And then we've got in eighth, Kai Awaya from Gould Port Elliot on 21. Here's the Telstra Senior Colts premiership ladder after round 16. And in first spot on top is Waiponga Selix with 14 wins. Second is Encounter Bay with 12 wins. In third spot is Strathalbyn on 12 wins, and fourth spot Wollonga on 12 wins. They're all separated by percentage. In fifth spot is Gould Port Elliot on 10 wins. 6 is McLaren on 7 wins. 7th is Yankalilla with 6 wins. 8th is Langhorne Creek with 4 wins. 9th is Mount Compass with 3 wins. And 10th is Victor Harbour, yet to have a victory. But it's still possible for a bit of movement in that top 5. That's pretty exciting. Here are the results for the GSFL Fleurieu Milk Junior Colts after round 16. So in the first game, Langhorne Creek defeated Yankalilla. Langhorne Creek 14-19, 103 to Yankalilla 2-113. And Gould Port Elliot hosted my Ponga Sellicks. My Ponga Sellicks were too strong, 11-8, 74, defeating Gould Port Elliot 3-3, 21. Wollonga hosted Encounter Bay, and Wollonga were too strong there. Wollonga 6-7, 43, defeating Encounter Bay 1-4, 10. Victor Harbour had a tight tussle with McLaren. McLaren were victorious 4-4, 28 to Victor Harbour 3-2, 20. Then Mount Compass hosted Strathalbyn, and Strathalbyn, big win, 18-11, 119 to Mount Compass 1-2, 8. For best players and goal kickers, please go to the web address below. So here's the premiership table for the Fleurieu Milk Junior Colts after round 16, and on top is my Ponga Sellicks with 15 wins and a pretty healthy percentage. Second is Wollonga with 13 wins. Third is Strathalbyn with 12 wins. Fourth is Encounter Bay with 10 wins. Fifth is Victor Harbour with 9 wins. Sixth is Gould Port Elliot with 8 wins. Seventh is McLaren with 7 wins. Eighth is Langhorne Creek with 4 wins. Ninth is Mount Compass with 1 win. And 10th is Yankalilla, yet to have a victory. And I still think there's a bit of movement in that top 5, or even for a side like Gould Port Elliot in 6 to slip in. So things are still alive. Gives me great pleasure to welcome to Fleurieu Footy Podcast one of the young guns from the GSFL A-grade competition from Yankalilla, an A-grade association player and a player that leads by example, Jack Fitzgerald. Welcome,
Thanks,
mate.
David. Thanks for having me, mate.
Yeah, my pleasure, mate. Look, we'll get straight into it. I'll ask you a couple of questions. Just tell us a bit about your footy path so far, you know, with your junior football in South Adelaide.
Yeah, so I started my career at Yankalilla when I was probably pretty young, and then moved to South Adelaide. Was lucky enough to get invited out to all the underage programs they have there, the 13s, the 14s, and all the way up. Played under 16s, under 18s, and that sort of thing, which was good. And then I moved to Sacred Heart College in year 9. Should have been, sort of under 16s, so that made it difficult to play at South Adelaide. So you had to play school footy there, but I love school footy. It was great. Play with your best mates every week, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. But South was good too, and was a good time. And I've been back at Yankalilla for 3 years, so
enjoying it the best you can.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question is, look, congratulations on making the association side. You 21 or 20. How did you find it, and did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was actually really good. Had a great time meeting all the players you play against week in, week out, and we had a really, really strong side. So we had a good win, and it was really good to meet other players, and it was a great experience. Can't speak highly enough of it.
Oh, good, mate. That's a good thing to come from you, because you're probably the future of association footy.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. Now, how's your season been with your form personally so far with the Yankalilla A grade? And I see there's a bit of improvement there week in, week out.
There is improvement. We pardon me. We we had a bit of a hiccup on the weekend, and against a very strong Langhorne Creek, we probably only played a good quarter and a half maybe, and the rest of the game they were pretty dominant and able to pile on goals very quickly. They'll do some damage if they happen to get into the finals, no doubt, as they always do. But the week before we had a good win against Goolwa, which was great reward for effort for the boys. We definitely enjoyed that one, and that was our second win for the season. So it's been a tough year, but we're definitely improving, which is really important. Yeah.
Yep. So you've played a fair bit of footy through your junior career, and obviously South, Yankalilla, and Sacred Heart. What do you do outside of footy? What do you indulge in? Are you a gamer, or are you into your music, or what's the go there, mate?
No, not either of those things really. I don't get to see my schoolmates really as much, being playing at Yank and work and that. So I do catch up with them a fair bit when I can. Obviously, seeing family and that sort of thing. I enjoy going to the races, having fun and catching up with mates there, a few beers.
Because your dad is a bit of a trainer, is that
he's
right?
in transport, yeah, horse transport. And he loves the races too. He's always has been since.
Now, have you had a chat with Gianni, your association coach? Because he loves to punt.
I didn't actually get a chance to speak to him about that.
Okay, now I've also got a couple of horses with Jake Stevens in between Yank and Victor Harbour. So I've got one doing a jump out on Thursday, mate. I'll give you the name of it after the show.
Sure, sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
That's interesting to know that you don't mind a bit of a dabble in the horsies. What about in the AFL, mate? Do you have a punt on the footy stats?
Yeah, absolutely. Have a bit of fun here and there. Yeah, no, it's good. It's definitely enjoyable and nothing over the top, obviously, but it's very enjoyable. Yeah.
So tell us about what might be your favourite footy moment.
Favourite footy moment. I had a lot of good moments at school footy. Obviously, it's called Intercol, where we play against Ross Trevor. The whole school plays against them in every single sport. And footy's the last sport of the weekend, so it's a huge crowd. And we had a win in year 11. We lost in year 12 by 1 point, which is probably my worst footy memory, but my best was probably winning in year 11. It was
So they turned the tables on you,
They did,
mate.
yeah. They had a very good team. So did we, to be fair. So, school footy was very enjoyable and obviously a bit sad as well. Can turn the tables pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So do you follow the AFL, mate?
I do, yeah. Yep.
So who would be your favourite AFL player?
Favourite AFL player, since really I can remember, is Trent Cotchin.
Okay. Are you a Tigers fan?
No, I'm not. I support Port Adelaide, so it's a weird one, but I'm not sure why growing up I loved him straight away. I'm not sure why, but it's probably pretty easy to tell now. He's hard, tough, skillful.
Captain.
He's been a skipper, triple premiership.
Premiership captain, yeah.
So, Brownlow medalist as well now.
So I was going to ask you a question, who do you support in the AFL, but you've told us that, so that's fine.
Port Adelaide, yeah. Bit of a weird one. My parents actually both support Adelaide, and me and my brother both support Port Adelaide, so I'm not sure how that works.
So there's a bit of a split in the family when there's a showdown, and that's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Split, yeah.
You don't go together?
We have a few times, yeah. But there'll definitely be a few words exchanged before that game, I'd say.
All right, mate. Look, thanks for letting us know a bit about your footy. We'll go on to the famous quiz now, and we give you about 5 questions, and we'll go through the answers at the end. So we'll just run through the 5 questions, and then we'll tally up the answers at the end.
No worries.
All right. So the first question is: which player has kicked the most goals in AFL history?
Tony Lockett.
The second question is, who was the first Fremantle player to win All-Australian selection?
First Fremantle player. First ever. Matthew Pavlich? Probably a bit early.
Question 3. The Coleman Medal is awarded to who?
Player that kicks the most goals in the season.
Question 4. Where was the AFL Grand Final played in the last 2 years?
It was played in Queensland, Brisbane. Oh, and
Last 2 years.
Brisbane and Perth.
And question 5. What player won Goal of the Year for both 2015 and 2016?
Eddie Betts.
All right, so that's the 5 questions. And guess what, mate? I reckon you've got 5 out of 5.
No way.
So all the other guys that I've had on are going to message me, I'm sure, and say those questions were way too easy.
Maybe.
So you're in front. Congratulations. At the moment, there's still a few guys to go, but at the moment you're in front, mate. So that's pretty fearsome effort.
Beautiful. What an effort.
Yeah. So look, that's it, Jack. Thanks very much for joining us on Fleurieu Footy Podcast. I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. I know you only got a couple of games to go, but who knows what you might do.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Great to have you on, mate.
See ya.
Cheers. Here are the results for the men's A grade after round 16 10 years ago. Encounter Bay hosted my Pongaselics, and the final score saw my Pongaselics 10 goal 10 70 defeat Encounter Bay 7 goal 9 51. Best players for my Pongaselics: T Carroll, S Hunt, N Hutchinson, D Wenham, B Hodgkins, and C McCallum. Goal kickers: D Hill 3, S Hunt 2, B Hodgkins 2, W Hutchinson, S Hutchinson, and S Zvedlov 1 each. Best players for Encounter Bay: D Sanders, P Taggart, P Rogan, R Barnes, and D Frank. Goal kickers: P Rogan 2, T Hooper 2, S Welsh 2, and E Horrocks 1. And Gould Port Elliot hosted Langon Creek, and Langon Creek had a big win, 25 goals 19, 169. To Gould Port Elliot, 8 goals 8, 56. Best players for Langon Creek are Butler, L McGregor, T Dern, N Warren, T Johnson, and F Hill. Few goal kickers: T Durham kicked 5, R Butler 3, N Warren 3, L McGregor 3, B McLeod 2, J Kellogg 2, J Ashton Place 2, singles to T Johnson, S Williams, T Haitley, P Sherwood, and M James. And best players for Gould Port Elliot: N Jones, B Simcott, T Ferguson, S Daniel, D Cuthbert, and A Harvey. Goal kickers: A Harvey 3, N Jones 2, singles to H Wilson, C Micken, and L Turner. McLaren hosted Mount Compass, and Mount Compass were the winners, 16 goals 11, 107. To McLaren, 8 goal 5, 53. Best players for Mount Compass: T Corbett, S Balderstone, S Milburn, S Pittaway, M Byrne, and D Schultz. Goal kickers: J Parsons 5, T Pinion 4, T Guerin 4, J Smith, T Corbett, C Merritt 1 each. Best players for McLaren: D McAvoy, M Fennedy, N Riley, S Carl, B Altus, and B Towers. Goal kickers: J Cowling 2, singles to D McAvoy, D Carl, T Sauzowicz, D Fennedy, E Hansen, and B Towers. Wollonga hosted Victor Harbour, and in a tight game, Wollonga were the winners, 13 goals 14, 92. To Victor Harbour, 10 goals 12, 72. Best players for Wollonga: B Haskett, T Steele, J Mesky, M Portlock, B Baxter, and S Roberts. Goal kickers: M Portlock 3, S Brown 3, S McGowan 2, J Stanfield 2, singles to R Sherry, T Steele, and W Glass. Best players for Victor Harbour: L Ryan, D Ilgickson, M Graham, M Hodge, L Watman, and S Thompson. Goal kickers: Victor Harbour: D Ilgickson 6, L Watira 2, S Thompson 2. In the final game, Yankalilla hosted Strathalbyn, and Yankalilla were the winners, 16-9-105, defeating Strathalbyn 5-5-35. Best players for Yankalilla: J. Brazier, M. James, A. Hunt, M. Warmington, A. Ball-Ace, J. Sidebottom. Goal kickers: P. Fiddick 6, M. Warmington 4, Earl Brannigan Fish at 2, singles to A. Ball-Ace, M. James, M. King and J. Brazier. Best players for Strathalbyn: B. Cousins, J. Hall, M. Vanetti, J. Stringer, M. Tucker and S. Munn. Goal kickers, one each to B. Cousins, S. Munn, B. Weiss, A. McFarlane and J. Donaldson. So here's a look at the premiership ladder after round 16 for the men's A grade 10 years ago. And on top was Wollonga with 15 wins, followed closely by Yankalilla in second spot with 14 wins. A bit of a gap then to third spot, Langhorne Creek with 10 wins. Fourth was Encounter Bay with 9 wins. Fifth was McLaren with 8 wins. Sixth was Mount Compass with 6 wins, along with Victor Harbour in 7th on 6 wins. Then we had Strathalbyn in 8th on 5 wins. 9th was Gould Port Elliot on 4 wins. And 10th was Maiponga Selix with 3 wins. Here are the results for the GSFL FPAG Under-17 Girls and Women's A-Grade preliminary final results. So in the Girls Under-17 preliminary finals, Strathalbyn took on McLaren, and McLaren were victorious there, 4-8-32, defeating Strathalbyn 2-4-16. So Sunday the 14th of August at Strathalbyn Oval is the FPA Girls Under-17 Grand Final, and Wollonga are taking on McLaren. Here are the results for the Women's A-Grade preliminary final, and McLaren played Gould Port Elliot, and the final score saw McLaren 5-3-33 defeat Gould Port Elliot, who kicked just 2 points. So this Sunday at Strathalbyn Oval, the FPAG Women's A-Grade Grand Final is between Wollonga and McLaren. It's time for this week's Plug a Local Business. Max Barnes Electrical, a local electrician servicing the Adelaide Hills, Fleurieu Peninsula and parts of the Adelaide region and Murraylands, providing a reliable service at a reasonable price for all domestic, commercial, solar, installation and industrial electrical services. Please give Max a call on 0429 982 309 or contact Max via his Facebook details or send him a message via email maxbarneselectrical@gmail.com. Question of the week. What are your thoughts on the AFL's protected rule around the standing mark area? I saw a decision on the weekend which had no effect on the area or the situation, and it cost the side a goal. Hate to see this be an outcome in close finals, let alone a grand final. I reckon throw the rule out. It really has nothing to do with the game at all. What do you think?
Don't stop. Watch out now.